Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another series where I rank a particular draft pick number from 1 to 24. This episode, we're going through every number 3 draft pick since 2000 and ranking them from 1 to 24, essentially redrafting it in some way. In 9th place, I've got Hugh McCluggage, that's a fucking tongue twister. Was drafted, played 2016 to the Brisbane Lions. He's played over 170 games. He has kicked over 100 goals. He's never made the All-Australian, but he's made the All-Australian 40 list in 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. Is that an accolade? Yes and no, not really. A very consistent career thus far. He's been a good player, but he's never been an elite player. He's never been All-Australian, for example, never been the Brownlow. It is his 9th season in the AFL. He's not going to make All-Australian this year because the wingers are outrageously talented. That's 9 seasons without an All-Australian, which means, you probably can't put him top 8. Speaking of top 8, in 8th place, I've got a Fremantle draftee from 2008. He's got a brother called Brad. It is Stephen Hill. Stephen Hill was another hood classic in my eyes, nostalgia player, over 200 games, kicked over 100 goals, AFL Young Player of the Year in 2010, made the All-Australian 40 in 2015. Look, Hugh McCluggage will have a better career than Stephen Hill, all things considered, but I just love Stephen Hill. I loved watching him play. The left boot, fast, silky. We all remember that famous goal coming off the bench against Geelong in the prelims or something like that in, 2013, 14, 15 or something like that. Now that I think about it, I probably want to revitalize that, but I'll just stick with the original thought that Stephen Hill is better, but let's be real. At the end of their careers, McCluggage and Luke Jackson and probably the likes of Finn Callahan will be over him. Pause. Wait, what? In 7th place, I've got Adelaide's Isaac Rankin. Now, his original club was not Adelaide. His original club was the Gold Coast Football Club, where we all knew he wasn't going to stay. I mean, he was drafted then. We all knew he wasn't going to stay there. Let's be real. He's played over 80 games, already over 100 goals. He's going way over a goal a game, which is a really good ratio. This season, when he hasn't been injured, he has been arguably Adelaide's best player. And that's sort of based off this season. He is shot right up in my rankings where he could theoretically win a Brownlow. He could theoretically be a top 5, top 10 player in the comp if he continues on the trajectory he is. He's still young. Let's see, he's only fucking 24 maybe. So he's still got years to grow and stuff like that. But with my top 6, I didn't have room for him there. Speaking of the top 6, in 6th place, I've got Ryan Griffin, who was drafted to the Dogs in 2004. So 2004, they picked the old man Ryan Griffin. Ryan Griffin, a absolute hood classic. I've got to really stop saying hood classic. But no, on a level, Ryan Griffin, so fucking good. Great midfielder for the Dogs, goes to the Giants. Another great midfielder there, a phenomenal career. Let's talk about the statistics of this guy. 257 games, 162 goals, 73 Brownlow votes, All-Australian in 2013, Best and Fairest in 2010 and 2013, AFL Young Player of the Year 2006, remarkably consistent, remarkably talented, and unfortunately with the top 5, not good enough to make it in. Speaking of the top 5, for 3, 4, 5, I changed them so many times. I've just gone for that nostalgia, and that's why in 5th place, I've got Harry Sheezel, who was drafted in 2022 to the North Melbourne Football Club. Harry Sheezel is the real deal. He is already breaking records. Harry Sheezel, extraordinarily talented, extraordinarily mind-blowingly talented. Rising star last year in 2023, AFLPA first in 2023. He's going to make All-Australian this year if he keeps going. He's been North Melbourne's best player in my eyes. He's been phenomenal. And I think in a good team, with a good system and a good coach and a good club, let alone anything else, he will succeed. Will he stay at North Melbourne? Let's be real, probably not. Like, why would someone of that talent and that caliber stay at a club like North Melbourne? It does not make sense. He's going to go to a massive club and flourish, and I think he can get to the 300 game mark and be him. In 4th place, I got someone who he really could be in 5th place, but whatever. Callum Mills who was drafted in 2015 to the Sydney Swans. With that sort of New South Wales zone stuff, that's when that started coming into the comp. Callum Mills has been really injured, but we all know During the start of his career, he was amazing. He won the Rising Star in 2016, All-Australian in 2022, also Best and Fairest in 2022, AFL First in 2016, All-Australian 40 list in 2021. This season he's been injured, and he has had a lot of injuries throughout this career, but I think once he sorts that out, he's going to explode into a different stratosphere. I rate Callum Mills phenomenally. Versatile, can play midfield, can play in the back line. He's everything. He's a leader, he's a captain. He is Sydney Swans to me. And for someone who is hitting the prime of their career, I reckon it's got 4, 5, 6 years to really bang out those games, get the votes, win a Brownlow, and that's why he's in 4th. In 3rd place, I've got Alan Diddley Didak. I don't know why I said that. Drafted in 2000 to the Collingwood Football Club. I do think Mills and Sheasel will have a better career at the end of their careers, but Alan Didak, talk about talented, talk about exciting, talk about Collingwood. Won the flag in 2010. He's played 218 games, kicked 274 goals, All-Australian in 06 and 2010, Best and Fairest in 2006, All-Australian 40 in 2009. Remarkably talented, amazing to watch. I remember watching Collingwood games back in their prime from like 010 to well maybe even 09, 08 as well. He was so fucking cool to watch. He was so fucking fun, talented, and that X factor I think is why I eventually put him above Callum Mills and Harry Sheasel. In 2nd place, I have got Chris Judd, which is probably making you think, who the fuck is better than Chris Judd? Well, there is someone, but it is contentious. Chris Judd drafted to the Eagles in 2001. I don't need to say much about him. 279 games, 228 goals, 210 Brownlow votes, All-Australian in 2004, 2006, 08, 09, 2010, 2011, 6 All-Australians. Brownlow, 2 of them in 04 and 2010. MVP, 2 of them in 06 and 2011. Best and Fairest in 5 seasons, 04, 06, 08, 09 and 2010. He won the Norm Smith in 2005, AFL Young Player of the Year in 2003, AFL First in 2002, and he won the flag with the Eagles in 2006. Phenomenal player, arguably in that top 5 players for the last 20 years in the 21st century. Like 21st century to me is Ablett and Franklin are head and shoulders above the rest. Not head and shoulders, but they're clearly 1 and 2 either order. And then you've got the likes of Judd and some other players. And a man who's going to come up next, and I'm just going to go to him right now. Number 1, I have got Dustin Does Martin. Drafted to Richmond in 2009. He's played over 300 games and recently played his 300. Over 340 goals. He's got 212 Brownlow votes and he'll get some more this season. So we'll look at it stat for stat and then in other realms. So All Australians, he's only got the 4 compared to Judd's 6. He's got 016, 2017, 18 and 2020 All Australians. He's got the Brownlow 2017, so 1 less Brownlow. MVP in 2017 as well. AFL in 2017. 2 Best and Fairest compared to Judd's 5. But with Richmond's Best and Fairest, it's very much different to other clubs. So we ignore that. Gary Ayres Award in 2017, 19 and 20. I'll get onto that in a bit. 3 Norm Smiths, 2017, 19 and 20. All-Australian 40 as well in 2014, 15, 19 and 2023. 2023 and 2019, he should have made All-Australian. Very fortunate there. And obviously won the 3 flags. So Judd has more All-Australians and more Brownlows and more MVPs. And Best and Fairest, technically, yes. Dustin Martin has more Norm Smiths, has more Gary Ayres Awards, and more premierships. More games as well, more goals as well, more Brownlow votes. We're going to ignore all that because at the end of the day, I did not firsthand, I've watched him since, but I didn't watch live Chris Judd in his prime. I watched him when he got traded to Carlton, like that's when I really started watching football, and a little bit before that. Dustin Martin, when you watch him, it's very similar to Chris Judd. Both are super powerful, really phenomenal kicks, underrated possession use. They're leaders in their own right. They're big game players in their own right. I mean, both Norm Smiths. But I think the difference is Dustin Martin, he's got a bigger legacy for Richmond compared to Judd for Carlton or for West Coast. But a big game player doesn't get bigger than Dustin Martin. He's got the 3 Gary Ayres Awards, which is something people always seem to forget. He's won the best finals player for 3 different years. That's influence. That is legacy. And it's hit and miss. Well, not hit and miss. It's touch and go. You can choose either one. Like, I wouldn't blame you if you did Chris Judd. Also, wouldn't blame you if you went Dustin Martin. But if I want to draft one of these players right now from the beginning, I would just rather Dustin Martin. In his prime, he was better. Over his career, I would say maybe Judd is better. But Dustin Martin's not finished yet. He might well retire this season. He might keep going. Who fucking knows? He might go to Gold Coast and have a decent season. Don't know, don't care. Right now, I'm still saying Dustin Martin. I would take him over Chris Judd. if I knew what their careers would be, if I knew everything about them. And that is a very elongated list of redrafting and ranking from 1 to 24 every number 3 AFL draft pick since 2000. Let me know in the comments where I've gone right, where I've gone wrong. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow the TikTok FTFooty, and I'll be seeing you in another video.